Joe Gorjo, he is joining us now. Joe, can you tell us where you are located? We know you're just getting to the scene and digesting all of this information. Obviously, we have just had a sad update learning that one officer has lost their life today.
Carly, we're by Houston Mill Road where Clifton Road is. You can see behind me, officers have it blocked off. We just heard from Andy Parati. He is reporting about that daycare. We're actually a couple blocks from that building where we're positioned right now, but officers are blocking off the street, not allowing through traffic at this time. In fact, Carly and Blair, just moments ago, I saw an officer escorting a CVS employee past this blockade that you see here and helping her get to her vehicle and into a safe point about a few blocks down the road. She was visibly shaking. You could see distress in her eyes as the officer was holding her hand as he was walking her through this. Again, that CVS is part of that focal point from where we believe this shooting took place. In fact, just a short time ago, I spoke with a mother. I know we have some of that sound. We're working on getting it in at this point for you to hear, but I did speak with a mother whose son is still at that daycare. He's a year and a half old, and she told me that she got a text from her wife that she heard gunshots, that they were in lockdown, and they had to go into hiding and be quiet, so she couldn't even speak with her wife and to know that her child was safe. But you can only imagine the terror that that mother was feeling, getting that notification that all of a sudden you find out that your loved one and your child are somehow now in a situation where they're surrounded by gunfire in lockdown at a daycare. And one thing she told me at the very end of our conversation, she says, this just can't be normal that you send your child, who's just a year and a half years old, to the point where now you're worrying about if they're going to come home in one piece because of incidents like this. Now we're told that the child's okay and that the kids in that class, we spoke with another mother who said they got a notification from that daycare that every single child was accounted for in their class. Again, I do not know how many classes are in this daycare, how many different rooms are in this daycare, but that mother told me she received a notification that all the kids were accounted for in their class. So both of those mothers, I can see them just from my periphery where I'm standing right here. They're talking to each other. They're trying to comfort each other. They're obviously very anxious and want to get to their children and their loved ones and give them a big hug. I can only imagine what they're feeling right now. I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it if my kids were in that situation, so I can only imagine what they're experiencing right now. And we will hear from that mother at some point throughout the evening because we did speak with her. But Blair, Carly, that's part of the emotion. Some people are curious, wondering why they're seeing all this crime scene tape. What's going on behind us? Is this scene contained? Others know that their loved ones and people they know were trapped in hiding, fearing for their lives when the shooting was going on. So there's just a lot to take in at this moment. Like you mentioned, an officer has lost their life at this time because of this shooting, and we'll learn more as the hours go on, but certainly the feeling of anxiousness and uneasiness is certainly very present where we're standing right here. Blair, Carly?
Yeah, Joe, I can't imagine the fear that people had in that area because the estimates of the gunfire, 10 shots, 30 shots, I just can't imagine what people, the fear, the true fear they had this afternoon. Have you gotten any sense from law enforcement when they might give us an update? I know we've been told, and I know it's a very fluid situation, that's how these things work, but have you heard any updates on that?
Blair, it's a great question. I have been coordinating with our assignment desk, and our reporter Niamani Watson's actually at this scene working on trying to figure out when they're going to give more information. As you can see, this is a very heated scene. I'm actually seeing people trying to converse with officers here and get information, so it's very fluid. I know it's supposed to be soon. There will be a briefing. We do have crews there, Blair and Carly. That's the good news, so we should be there when they give us an update to give us more of an understanding of the timeline of events as they know it at this point. But right now, there's certainly a lot of uncertainty and uneasiness, people trying to figure out what's going on. And of course, are the surrounding areas safe at this time? Police have done a good job blocking off and securing a good portion of the surrounding campus here in the roads, but right now there's certainly uneasiness, especially for the parents too. The parents just want to get to their children. They want to get through the barricades. They want to go see their loved ones, and right now they're being told they have to stay in place for the time being. In fact, they're still trying to get escorted. Those two parents, you see them behind me here. I don't know if Josh Capan, you just see they're talking to officers. They want to get to their kids, Blair and Carly. They're being told they can't cross this barrier right now because, again, this is about safety and making sure everything is secure before you can gain access towards where the daycare is and where their loved ones are. So a lot of moving parts. It's very fluid right now. There's a lot of just an uneasiness. I keep using that same word because I'm trying to just really think about the emotion, but certainly hearts are pumping. People are anxious. They want to make sure the people that they love and care about are safe.
Oh, sure. Here we are at 7 o'clock and those parents can't get to their kids. And we're talking about young kids. I mean, heard about 3-year-olds, year and a half. And when we were talking with Andy here a few minutes ago, we were showing just how close Some of the gunfire landed over the CDC's headquarters, is right across the street, we believe, from this daycare. And so, as a parent, you can't imagine what they're thinking at this point. And we get it. That,
Blair,
you know,
if you don't mind, if I
Yeah,
just
Joe.
chime in, I'm sorry to
No, you're fine.
interrupt you, and I do apologize, but you have the parents too, and I wonder, and maybe at some point we'll find out in the near future. I have to go back to that CVS employee that I saw, right? Because we know that's where the shooting was also very much a focal point, where it was centered around that area, and just to see, just recalling as you were talking, just remember seeing the fear in her eyes, and just this moment of walking, just seeing all these cameras and the reality, and it's just so thankful that the officer was at least holding her hand and walking her through this to make sure that she could have at least a moment to begin to decompress after being in lockdown, most likely in that building where she was working earlier this evening. So just, again, there's just so many people impacted, Blair, from this shooting. It's widespread here where we're at right now, and just the fear, the anxiety, the anxiousness of everything that's taken place. And I just can't imagine those who've had to experience this firsthand, hearing the gunshots and having to go into hiding for their lives.
Sure. And you can't, we don't know what happened inside that CVS or outside that CVS, and that feeling of that employee, that, you know, that won't go away. And so it's, you know, as we get more information from law enforcement to figure out what exactly unfolded there at the CVS, certainly that will be one of the big questions as we bring you more